Good evening and welcome to the reaction for the 2020 PDC World Championship draw. Draw's just been done by Winmau Darts and Co down at Sky Sports Studios, and there has been some absolutely fantastic picks out of the hat. Of course, the top 32 seeds taking on the qualifiers, international qualifiers from the PDPA, women, and plenty of other names in the PDC. Where else to start but Michael van Gerwen? He's going to be playing either Jelle Klaassen or Kevin Burness. He's come into some fantastic form again recently, winning the Players' Championship, obviously in Minehead last week. But another good year for him. I think he's won about half of the majors this year, not maybe quite to the heights of 2013 or 2014. But Michael van Gerwen will be looking to retain his title at the Alexandra Palace and likely to face Jelle Klaassen or Kevin Burness in round 2. Next up, we'll have a quick look at the female players in the 2020 PDC World Championships. There being Mikuru Suzuki, who came through the rest of the world qualifier a couple of weeks ago, and Fallon Sherrock, who came through today's qualifier for the UK and Ireland over in Wigan. She'll face Ted Everts in her first round game. Everts, of course, one of the most dominant players on the PDC Development Tour. Played in last year's World Championships, but after getting that experience under his belt, I'm sure he'll put up a good fight against Sherrock. And Sherrock averaged 99, I believe, in her last 16 game and 91 against Lisa Ashton in her semi-final of the qualifying. So a very dangerous player if you've never seen her play before. The winner of that will face Mensur Suljovic. Suzuki, she faces James Richardson, a last 16 player here 12 months ago. A player that of course beat Barney in that famous game a few years ago. The winner of that will go on to face John Henderson, probably one of the least form seeds of the top 32. Not been playing brilliant darts. I mean, wasn't too bad at the Players' Championship over the weekend, but I'm sure she'll fancy her chances there. Next up, we have to have a quick look at who Gerwin Price has drawn. Price has been lodged as the second favourite for the PDC World Championships after his victory in Wolverhampton, of course making the final in Minehead over the weekend. He'll face Willie O'Connor or Marco Kantele of Finland in his second round game. O'Connor has come into some great form, of course, made the quarterfinals in Minehead over the weekend, losing out to Ian White, of course, lost out to MVG, who won the whole thing over the weekend in Minehead. Kantele's played here before. He's obviously a solid player to make it this far, but you would fancy O'Connor to win that and go on and face Price in the second round. Some other interesting ties include Raymond van Barneveld's possibly his final game on the Alexandra Palace stage, and of course in the PDC. He faces Darren Young in the first round after not quite making the top 32 in his final year on the tour. Darren Young, absolutely bags of experience, but the way Barney's playing, he looked extremely good over the weekend. 97, 98 averages. If he can reproduce that, you can't see Darren Young quite beat him there. And if he does get through that, he faces another Dutchman, Jeffrey de Zwaan. De Zwaan, a former world match play semi-finalist and one of the hottest young prospects in the Netherlands. So an all-Dutch tie if Barney can get past Darren Young, and that could be a real cracker. In some of the tighter affairs of the first round, Gabriel Clemens takes on Benito van der Pas. A couple of years ago, Van der Pas was a seed. I believe he was now around number 13 or number 14 seed, but he slipped all the way down the rankings. Had to come through a PDPA qualifier earlier today to reach the PDC World Championships, and he faces Gabriel Clemens in the first round, one of the form players going into the World Championships. Put an excellent display at the Grand Slam and didn't look too bad over the weekend either. So Gabriel Clemens versus Benito van der Pas, one of the standout ties of the first round, and the winner of that takes on Max Hopp. So potentially an all-German second round tie. A lot of debate to whether who is the best German player out there. Is it Max Hopp? Is it Gabriel Clemens? Is it Martin Schindler? I mean, we're going to have the debate up there again, and Clemens versus Hopp is an absolutely stunning tie. And finally, arguably the best match pulled out of the hat for the first round, Jose de Souza of Portugal. He made his debut last year, but 12 months on, what a revelation he has been. Won his first PDC Pro Tour and has thrown some absolutely ridiculous darts on the Euro Tour. He faces Damon Heta, won a World Series event earlier in the year, and he's been playing some absolutely amazing darts over on the DPA Tour. So Jose D'Souza against Damon Heta, and believe it or not, the winner of that gets Glenn Durrant. I mean, a 3-time PDC major semi-finalist in his first year on the PDC tour. D'Souza, Duzza and Heta. That is an incredible draw. I mean, no one can tell who's going to come through that, and in that quarter as well there's some huge names. So Duzza in for a real shock on his Alexandra Palace debut.